I want to start talking about my human head model here in Photoshop. I began my process by going to the internet and downloading some human head reference pictures. I picked this lady because first, these were clearly taken by a professional photographer who can do a better job than I can, and second, because they've already been prepared for 3D modeling. When you look at the front picture, for example, you can see that this is not two sides of her face. This is actually a mirrored version, so I know that I'll be looking at the same thing on both sides, which makes it a little bit easier to model. Most human faces are not, in fact, completely symmetric, and that can throw you off a little bit. So something like this, it's just been prepared for you, it's a little bit easier to work with. That's all. The next thing, I downloaded one of these. I would recommend going to the internet and just finding a bunch of these before you start modeling, because what they're going to show you is a little bit about how your edge flow should work. When you're modeling a human head, one of the things that you have to consider is that at some point someone's probably going to want the jaw to drop. This edge loop right here shows you the path that the edges will take to optimize the way that the jaw is going to open. Here's the way the nose is going to flow into the chin. You'll need to have a loop running around the outside of the lips to ensure that the lips can open and shut properly. And of course, you'll need to have loops around the eyes so that your eyes can open and shut, and so that you can have an easier time building your eyelids. I'm not going to be covering the ear in this video, so if you want to model a human ear, you may have to do a little more research and a little more work, but we'll be covering the basics of at least the front of the face. We'll get at least out to this blue line. Before I start modeling, I like to take a moment and put those kinds of things together so that I can start configuring the way that I want my edges to flow in 3D, and just give myself a little reminder about the way my edges are going to need to work. My diagram is a little bit simpler than the one that I just showed you. I'm basically outlining the mouth here, the nose here, there's the eye, and there is the forehead down into the chin. And I'm doing the same thing over here on this side. When I first did this, I used layers so that I could make all of my colors a little bit transparent and make sure that I didn't have any overlap, although I didn't do a great job there. But this is the image that I'm going to take back into Maya, and this is going to help me blocking out the shapes for my face. So with this demo, I am including my project directory, and the project directory will have all three of these images in it. Again, I would recommend that if you're going to model your own human head, do a little bit of research and pick up a couple of these topology diagrams. This one's okay, but there are others that might be a little bit clearer or might include more detail for you. The last thing that I've included with the demo that I'm doing here is this Maya file where I have already got the image planes aligned. So this is my side view, and at this point the side reference image is lined up so that the ear is right on the y-axis. Here's the front view. In this case, the front orthographic view is lined up on that y-axis. I've got the image planes on a layer, and I have them turned off in the perspective view, and that should make it nice and easy for me to start modeling.